The South African Communist Party has called on the United States to lift economic sanctions against Cuba. This message comes as the Caribbean nation celebrates the 67th anniversary of the 26th of July movement's revolutionary Moncada Action. Considered one of the most important movements of the Cuban Revolution, it fought and conquered the Batista regime. SACP says that Cuba has been continuing to contribute positively to the world, highlighting the Cuban Medical Brigades deployed to more than 20 countries to help with COVID-19 responses. The party says Cuba should be allowed to develop and the lifting of sanctions are long overdue.
The SACP commend the Centennial Youth of Cuba, led by Fidel Castro, that launched the heroic attack on the Moncada barracks on July 26, 1953, in honor of the 100 years of Jose Marti's birth and his political, economic, and social thought about the new Cuba. It was a continuum of the struggles for national independence and unification of Latin America, led by Simon Bolivar, Jose Marti, Céspedes, Máximo Gómez, Antonio Maceo, Fidel Castro, Che and Raúl, Carlota and Velma, and many others. It birthed a new internationalist force in revolutionary Cuba. And today we express our deep appreciation to the Cuban Revolution, the July 26 movement, and the entire people of Cuba for their conscious, selfless commitment to the cause of others and a better life for all peoples of the world. Cuba is today sharing its internationalist medical brigade contingent with the rest of the world in over 20 countries, 9 of which are in Africa, including South Africa, in the fight against COVID-19. This contingent proves to us that it is time to strengthen international solidarity instead of betraying human connections and solidarity. The atrocious economic, commercial, and financial blockade imposed by the US government against Cuba for 6 decades has caused untold misery. It is genocidal, but more so, it is the most unfair, severe, and extended system of unilateral sanctions ever applied against any country anywhere in the world, contrary to international law. It is a flagrant violation of the human rights of the Cuban people. Its extraterritorial application infringes on the sovereignty of other nations. The SACP reaffirms its commitment to solidarity with Cuba and demand the end of the illegal and criminal economic blockade against Cuba imposed by the US government, and to allow Cuba to choose a path of its own development, which is socialism. We remain forever indebted to Cuba for its contribution to our national independence and that of Namibia and the defense of the Angolan, Algerian, Syrian, and other revolutions, all the way far from Cuba. We cannot forget the heroic sacrifices at Puerto Carnaval, which shall forever remind us of Cuba's selfless dedication to humanity and the cause of equality, justice, peace, and freedom of all peoples. Quito remains unequaled as amongst the noblest act of human solidarity of our times. Revolutionary Cuba shows us that it is possible to solve problems facing humanity today, to provide everyone in the world with essentials for a dignified life, even with limited resources, and to end exploitation. We celebrate with Cuba the achievement of the Cuban Revolution and equally acclaim that in our shores, socialism or death, victory is certain. Long live the Cuban Revolution.
Meanwhile, the SACP also congratulated the Communist Party of Britain on marking a centenary of the working class's struggles for socialism in the country.
The South African Communist Party congratulates the Communist Party of Britain on marking 100 proud years of selfless revolutionary working class struggle for socialism and against bourgeois exploitation of society and nature, particularly of the working class. It is a struggle that has sought to tackle capitalism and imperialism in the very heart of the beast, to fight for workers' rights at home and internationally, and to keep the red flag flying high and offer a pivot of hope for a socialist future during some very hard times faced by the working class. The Communist Party of Britain has been a repository of human and material solidarity and gave sanctuary and platforms to many revolutionary movements world over to plan and direct the execution of their struggles when they could not do so in their home countries. We have a special relationship with you because of your unflinching support for our national liberation struggle from colonialism and the evil apartheid system, a crime against humanity. You took our struggle as your own and deployed young people in the frontline trenches against apartheid and your members in the anti-apartheid movement, including in our armed struggle through, for instance, the London recruits. You supported us magnificently when many of our struggle heroes were imprisoned and exiled in the UK, including some leaders of the SACP and the ANC, whose offices were in London. The unparalleled contribution of the Communist Party of Britain can never be forgotten nor underestimated in the international struggles of the working class against oppression. You have been our pillar of strength, and we thank you for that. We also laud you for your consistent great role on the left in Britain, fighting against the most terrible neoliberal capitalist assault on the working class and the poor in the form of privatization and of public wealth and austerity measures, as well as against unilateral restructuring of the workplace by capitalism. And we have continued to play a major role in the mass democratic movement, in the trade union movement, the youth, and among those of the left in the Labour Party. It is painful that because of COVID pandemic, we are unable to join you and celebrate your deserved 100th birthday in a typical revolutionary style of big mass gatherings. We must look forward nonetheless to strengthen working class internationalism and solidarity with you, and that the post-COVID world must not be a return to business as usual, a return to the capitalist crisis before the COVID crisis. Our two great parties and all the communist and workers' parties have huge tasks ahead to intensify a sustained war against the unabated capitalist exploitation of nature and society. As the great British communist leader Harry Pollitt once wrote, I quote, "The only way to end the contradiction and conflict in society is for the working class to become stronger, to become the ruling power, and to lead the mass of the people to build a classless society." Close quote. Socialism is the future. Build it now. Let us continue to make these words a reality. Viva the Communist Party of Britain. Viva working class internationalism.